Coach O come up, SEC media days. Of course, he didn't really answer any questions regarding the Title IX case, and I don't blame him. I mean, what do you expect him to say? I mean,
right, exactly.
But LSU, of course, year before last, they win the championship, undefeated season. Joe Burrow has one of the great seasons of all time as a quarterback. Jamar Chase, a great wide receiver. Jefferson. They had all sorts of talent there on the offense. And then last year, they go 5-5 during the COVID season. Really, of course, Miles Brennan goes down early in the year with an injury, and he was really playing well before the injury. So they had to rely on a couple of freshmen, TJ Finley and Max Johnson at quarterback. Their defense was kind of up and down. They had to play a lot of different guys. Guys opted out. Guys left early. So really wasn't a great year for LSU last year. And Coach O, compounded with the Title IX case and the fact that they went 5-5 last year. I don't want to say he's found himself on the hot seat, but another mediocre to average season, and he could be right there. Just kind of what's your thoughts on the LSU program right now? What are you seeing for them in this 2021 season?
I've seen several people make comment that they could be within, the top 3 of the SEC West. Possibly. I just, it's all going to depend on quarterback play. I know you're really high, or you yourself are really high on Johnson. I think he's going to be really good, but there's a lot of, Stingley's probably one of the best corners, defensive backs in the nation. But there's a lot of other question marks. Talking about that championship year, and everybody talks about it, but one Joe Brady was found during that season too.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow had an elite season, but he didn't have it the year before Joe Brady come in. So, and then you lose him, their offense kind of, last year. So, it all depends on quarterback play for them. And if they get an identity on defense, that's just my opinion. I think they still maybe be better than Ole Miss and Auburn. So they may finish 3rd in the West. But I think they're the 3rd or 5th range right there fighting with Ole Miss and Auburn.
Yeah, LSU's a tough team to gauge. They're talented, man. They got a lot of talent on that roster. If Max Johnson or for Miles Brennan, for that matter, plays, above average, they're going to have a solid running game. They may not be a lead on the ground, but they're going to be a solid running football team. Their defense is going to be better this year just because I think they returned 16 total starters from last year's team. So they're a much more experienced group than they were last season. Of course, Eli Ricks and Derek Stingley, possibly the best, corner duo in the country.
Oh, yeah.
So now there's some question marks at safety. Jacoby Stevens is gone. So some question marks there. They were not even good there last year. So there is some question marks in the back end of that defense aside from Stingley and Ricks. So just going to see how that defensive line plays, how the linebacker core meshes together. But I'm not as down on LSU. I think they're still a decent football team just because of the talent, man. They got so much talent on that roster.
They do.
So it would be hard for me to imagine that they finish lower the 3rd. To me, it's Alabama and A&M, and it's really Alabama and then A&M.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of there's LSU, and then there's teams like Arkansas, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. So it's I don't see them finishing worse than 3rd. It could come down to that last game of the season between A&M and LSU of who finishes 2nd in the West. So if I had to put money on it, that's kind of what would happen. So that's just kind of my thoughts on LSU. Like I said, y'all keep the comments coming. We appreciate everybody that's listening and watching. You got something you want to add or interject? Just put it there in the comment section. Go ahead, Jake.
I just going to say, be honest, last year when they beat Florida, and to me, they had no business beating Florida in that game. But we had the shoe-mageddon, as I call it, happen. But in all honesty, they put up a fight against Florida that whole entire game. So, like you said, they do have talent. Is it going to gel in time? It'll take some time for them to gel, but how are they going to be later in the season when they have to play Alabama and A&M? Are they going to be competitive against those two teams? Because it will gauge on how they may be next year for sure, especially if you got Johnson or I think Brennan might be a junior or a senior this year. I'm not sure, but if Johnson steps up, like a lot of people have been saying, he's really really talented and going to make a push this fall. That may be a gauge for the team next year with him leading it.
Yeah, it's LSU is going to be an interesting team to watch this year. I'm looking forward to. Of course, we're looking forward to the college football season, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Coach O kind of navigates this season. With the stuff off the field that's going on, along with trying to coach a football team. So a lot to look forward to with that LSU team. And